All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are live in full effect right here, right now, with the self-made living legend. We got Boxx-A-Million live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
What's the album with your DJ Immortal? I'm cool and bro. I can't complain, you heard me? Can't complain.
I gotta say, man, I've been looking forward to this broadcast, man. I've been most definitely digging your music, man. I gotta say, I really love what you bring to the table for hip hop, man. You're still keeping that real rugged raw sound alive, so I just gotta give you that props.
Man, appreciate that. Appreciate that, bro. I try, man. It's in my DNA. It's in my blood, bro. It's part of my makeup, you know?
But I gotta ask you, man. I want to take you back to the beginning of your illustrious career here within music. But I gotta ask you, man, like what actually inspired and sparked the amazing career of Boxx-A-Million?
Basically, God bless the day, my late brother, Clarence Peter Landry III, he was known in New Orleans as Lil C. You know, that's who sparked it, man. He was like a super MC in the late 80s, early 90s, man. He was like the one who was like, he brought something fresh, and he knew what the future, basically what the future was holding. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of what you saw in hip-hop coming into the early 90s, more on the gangster rap tip, that's my brother embodied that. My big brother embodied that. And when everything really started taking off for him, he was murdered. So that's what I really molded a lot of the beginning of my career since 11 years old. That's what I really molded after with him. You know what I'm saying? Because I pretty much, actually the day he got killed, that was the day I first rapped for him. So that's the crazy thing about it. So I just really kept going after that, man.
And I do want to say just quickly, man, my sincere condolences to yourself and his entire family, man. You know that's never the way to go. But and I agree, man. His career and legacy is most definitely embodied within you today internally.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
And also, bro, I want to take you to 2014, man, when you actually released the album titled Determination. I gotta ask you, what's the story and inspiration behind that phenomenal record?
As far as that, the determination, it really was. That's when we had everything going with Vietnam, and as everything was picking up with Vietnam, I had a lot of situations that was budding, that was coming on the table, and it was time to drop an actual project. So a lot of them songs from Determination was actually for a Vietnam compilation. The thing about it is, you know, real life happened. Everybody had a lot going on, so I really had to step up to the plate and say, okay, I got to release something because I created a lot of hype, a lot of possibilities on the table. So I took some of those songs that was for that project, and then I also went on my hard drive, grabbed some songs, and maybe recorded like 3 or 4, and I put them together. And then I had a concept of saying, okay, I'm gonna drop one as a mixtape, and I'm gonna drop another one with 4 extra songs with it as an album. So you know, my big homie Ice Mike, super producer from New Orleans, so he was always hosting my mixtape. So I said, okay, help me put it together and host it, put the scratching, put the real hip hop element to it, and I'm gonna release it. And I released it, and it did good. You know, I was able to do a few festivals. I was able to move around with it. The lackluster of it a little bit was the engineering tip, because that's when I really started learning how to engineer myself. So I actually engineered that whole record. So, you know, me and Hug Dynamite. So after I got it on there, but it did good, and it really began the saga of where we are now with winning season. So it was like a 3-part saga I created since 2014 from Determination to Overdue to winning season.
And I gotta say, man, my favorite joint off that record is actually Ghetto Rain, man. I think it was actually
But
featuring an individual by the name of Joy Diane, I believe.
yeah, that's my wife. Joy Diane is my wife, and MT, you know, that's my brother there. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the producers and track makers who gonna always rock with me until my career is where it's never gonna be over. But he gonna always rock with me. He produced that record, and my wife sung on it. Actually, that song is from 2012. Actually,
Oh, nice. And I gotta say, man, I didn't know. I actually did not know that was your wife just until now, man. But I can see why the chemistry within that track is absolutely phenomenal.
yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, me and my wife. And whenever you see Joy Diane on anything, that's my wife. She sings too. She more so neo soul, gospel, soul type music. You know what I'm saying? So whenever we do get time with all our kids and all we got going on, you know, I like to get up the best track for me, and we sit, write a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my wife, man. Anytime you see Joy Diane on a record, that's my wife.
And also, man, in 2015, you were actually featured on Logic's The Rapture Greatest Hits. I was wondering, man, how did yourself and Logic get connected? And of course, what's the story behind that collaboration, man? Because Logic is a legend within hip hop.
Actually, that's not the newer Logic that y'all know. That's the Logic that's a legend on the West Coast in certain circles too. Like that's another Logic. So me and him connected actually through my homie Relic, and Relic is also known on the independent scene too in Cali too. And Relic is actually originally from New Orleans. So I grew up with Relic. So me and Relic really was kicking it since we were maybe 11, 12 years old, maybe 12 years old. So I knew him, and you know when everything started flying around with emails, you could email everybody and do features. So me and Relic started doing features like 2011, 12 together, and then so I met Logic through him. And so me and Logic started creating a few songs together, and then he's also actually on Overdue on the West Coast and Dirty South Cypher, Not Your Radio. And then there's more stuff me and Logic gonna be working on also.
And I gotta say, man, I'm most definitely looking forward to those collaborations, man. You guys did phenomenal work, man, and I'm looking forward to even more phenomenal work in the future as well.
Yes, man. Appreciate that, man. I appreciate you even checking it out and listening to it, and also letting your listeners know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Now, I've been an independent underground legend since I was 11. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still moving around with it. I ain't gonna stop until I stop breathing. You know what I mean?
And also, man, in 2016, you actually did work with Ice Mike 1200 and the New Orleans Bomb Squad, man. I was wondering, how did yourself and them get connected? And of course, what was it like working on Super Dope Planet?
Ice Mike is everybody knows he's a New Orleans OG. He's actually one of the originators of the genre of bounce music, which you hear around and everybody in the mainstream all the way to the underground, those elements of music. He's one of a few pioneers from New Orleans as far as productions. He was one of the first ones to really implement a lot of what you hear in Southern rap as far as production. And as far as Ice Mike, I first met Ice Mike when I was a kid at a DJ. And just being amazed that you were able to be around Ice Mike. And then years later, him and a homie of mine, Slim Dog, interviewed me. And after they interviewed me, we really chopped it up. And he was like, you know, he always had the Bomb Squad. The Bomb Squad is just a collective of a whole bunch of New Orleans MCs. And as you dig into it, you see some known, some are known underground, and some are just on the rise. And he actually was like, hey, man, you know, you just went to chopping it up about being part of the Bomb Squad. And I said, man, I'm with it. And so after he said I'm with it, we started working on a Bomb Squad. And believe it or not, me and Ice Mike got at least like 2 albums in the vault that we've been working on. We still work on music to this day. You know, he's like the New Orleans Dr. Dre. So he has a lot to do with my career, this phase of my career, and the continuation of my career. So as far as the New Orleans Bomb Squad, I'm 100% 10 toes down with that.
And I gotta say, man, it sounds like when you say you have like about enough content for 2 albums in the vault, man, I gotta ask, are we actually going to see another or at least a couple more Bomb Squad records?
Yeah, you'll definitely see more Bomb Squad records. Definitely. It's just Ice Mike got a whole bunch going on. Like he, not too long ago, just produced legendary artist from New Orleans, G Slim, rest in peace. He just produced his little brother project, No Better. And then now he's just released something with Junior Mac. He's also a legendary New Orleans artist, and he's moving around with Junior Mac, Prince of Pimp Hop. You check Junior Mac out when you get a chance. You know what I'm saying? So Ice Mike is super busy. So it's just when we chopping it up, and he like, I got something for you. I hit him up, and we do a co-production together. And he actually just sent us a new track called Cut Your Head Off, and it's going to be on the project I'm working on now with Slick Dub, Xit-Only, and Lord Nexus. But the world knew Lord Nexus is Damian Neville, one of the legendary did a production for that called Cut Your Head Off. Super, super dope. Streets gonna love it.
And when you actually just brought up the Four Horsemen, that was actually one of the questions I had later on in the interview, and I actually saw that on your Instagram. But since you brought that up, man, there's no point of bringing it back up later on, so I'm gonna jump right into that one quickly. What can our listeners actually expect from this record when it does drop, man? Because just looking at that promo, man, it most definitely looks like it's gonna be a phenomenal project when it does drop to the general public.
Man, all you can expect is bars, substance, and it's gonna be a mixture of production. Like, we got Shorty Banks produced, Ice Mike produced, we got MT produced, we got Hug produced, we got we got Freddie Crush, we got King Bryce, myself, Lord Nexus. It's gonna be a mixture. We just really trying to bring that element of raw hip hop with substance, and then the substance is going to be of the times, what the world is facing, what the world is seeing. Because, you're getting little hit and miss of the substance of what's going on, what we all living through, but nobody's really talking about what we all really going through and what we've been going through for the past year. So that's what you're going to really hear on there. You know what I'm saying? We just really taking the Four Horsemen and aligning it with the times and the subject matter and the substance and bars. Because we like 4 songs in. We got like 25 tracks. We 4 songs in. So the thing is, we're going to record all 25. We're going to sift through them 25, and we're going to probably pick 9 or 10 and give it to the world,
Hey, man, it most definitely sounds like a phenomenal project, man. So when you guys bring that out, like, obviously if you bring out hard copies and whatnot, I'm guessing that sounds like it's going to be probably a double CD, eh?
It possibly be. It just depends on when we sit down and start chopping it up after we have everything done. Because what we're doing is we just recording it, ride around, listen to it, sit with it, and then we'll sift through it and see from there. I'll push for a double project, me, and possibly Xit-Only, but it's going to have to be a unanimous decision with Slick Dog and Lord Nexus, too. But if it turns out to be a double project, so be it. You know what I mean? And we definitely doing hard copies with this one. Definitely, because it's a span of 90s hip hop up until now. It's going to embody everything. So all of our bases together and all our bases individually, we want to make sure we touch around the world. You know what I mean?
And also as well, man, you actually own and operate your own record label titled Boxx-A-Million Inc. I was wondering, man, what actually made you decide to start your own label? And of course, who is currently signed alongside you right now today?
As far as operating a label, if you really look, Viet9 Entertainment, which started off as a production company with me, Hug Dynamite, my brother 13, my cousin-in-law Malk, who owns Ugly Unlimited Apparel, and MT. We actually started a label years ago, and MT became a part of it when we got up here to North Carolina. But we actually started a label years ago in New Orleans, right before Katrina. And that's where, if you look on my website, you see the Before My Time projects. That was all the songs that we were able to salvage from after Hurricane Katrina. But we started a label then, and then we came up here with it with Viet9. And so I always was business. I always have been business oriented. So I knew to try to control my own career. You know what I'm saying? I've been in situations where big things was on the table and all right things was on the table. So I always understood how to maneuver and what to do as far as business and within this industry, but just in this industry, it takes a lot of resources and a lot of money. And when you're an independent thinker and an independent artist, it's kind of hard to maneuver around like that. But the best way to be is self-sufficient. So as far as having a label, nobody's really signed to me or nothing, but I do like if you see me do any projects with somebody, it's basically like partnerships in a sense. So that's where I'm at whenever I do music. Like Boxx-A-Million Inc. is just really me having 51 shares and my wife and kids having 49 shares in a business that's able to maneuver at any table and deal with any corporation at any given time dealing with my brand. So that's why I just took and said, okay, like in the words of Jay-Z, I'm a businessman. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it all as far as this business. Because within the hip-hop industry, look how much money is gaining at this point. You know what I'm saying? And then right now, just maneuvering around, seeing what music and content is doing, you can always sit at a table. And if I sit at a table, it's better to sit at a table as a business than sit at a table as an individual. You see what I mean?
And also as well, last year you actually teamed up with the Moose Juice to create the single Black Lives Matter. I was wondering, what was it like working with the Moose Juice and on that powerful track, man? Because like around that time when you actually made that was when, unfortunately, the George Floyd incident was going on and the world was just gone crazy.
Yeah, Moose Juice actually, Moose Juice is from New Orleans also. I actually met Moose Juice through Ducky Boy. Me and Ducky Boy, some majority of New Orleans, you know, and some people outside of New Orleans, me and Ducky Boy was in the group together, Camouflage Assassins, since we were children. So I met Moose Juice through Ducky Boy, and Moose Juice reached out like, look, where I got a track that, you know, that's really with your level, what you be on, you know what I'm saying? Because the majority of my fan base love me for my lyrical vernacular and my substance. So he was like, damn, I got this track for you to be on. And I was like, cool. And then I was like, I got something I'm going to put you on later that I'm working on a project. We'll get into that later, but I'm working on a project. And I was like, okay, you throw me something, and I'll throw you something. And then he sent me the Black Lives Matter, and he sent me that. And then after I sent it back, he was like, I'm going to flip the track a little bit more, give it real that hip-hop feel. And I was like, word. And he put that together. You know, I'm 100% about that.
And I gotta say, man, you know what I mean? Yourself and the Moose Juice did a phenomenal track. I know a lot of artists were doing songs like that, but particularly this song is actually one of my absolute favorites.
Man, I appreciate you. I appreciate that. Shout out Moose Juice, man. Check out Moose Juice, too, you know what I'm saying? He's an eclectic artist, man. He got a lot of different little vibes, different little feels, you know what I'm saying? When you lay back and chill and ride to, you get that real hip-hop feel. Shout out Moose Juice on that one, bro. I appreciate you listening to it, you rocking with it, and also him putting me on record, you hear me?
And also, man, last year you actually dropped your newest solo project titled Winning Season. I was wondering, man, if you tell our listeners a bit more about that phenomenal record, and of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of this project today?
All right. As far as Winning Season, it's everywhere. You can stream it everywhere on all your streaming locations, everywhere you like to stream music. But basically, I like to run everybody to my hub, Boxx-A-Million.com. So you go to Boxx-A-Million.com and you can actually listen to music dating back to the early 2000s on Boxx-A-Million.com. And as far as Winning Season, man, Winning Season just was a couple of leftover songs from Determination, a couple of leftover songs from Overdue, and then I just started recording more towards it. Just pretty much like Winning Season, it's time to win. There's so many people in life, you know, the way life is set up, the systematic oppression that you see, it's always based for the average individual or the everyday person or the everyday man to lose. So a lot of us have been through losses in life, and with Winning Season, you know, I just tried to capture all my losses, but yet say it's time to win. And so what I did was I just was recording over time, as you see me, when I was working with True Renown with his project and working on features with everybody else and engineering music for people or producing for people. I was just, you know, slowly but surely just one off in a song here, one off in a song there, and trying to put it together, but yet embody it and then not try to go over everybody's head. Because when you really dig into my music, sometimes I could spit trigonometry. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, let me make something easy on the ears, blend in all my new listeners and blend in all my old listeners and put it on a project that's more leaning towards what a playlist would be, to where you can put out 20-something songs and people can gravitate towards what they like. And that was the whole thing, and I kind of modeled so many things within the last few years behind this project. It's just that as things rolled around, the pandemic hit. So I kind of had to make a few little adjustments and still put it out. And it's still doing good. Numbers climbing a little bit more. And it's more promotional things, more videos. There's a lot more I'm putting into playlisting and syncs and different stuff I'm working on, just trying to get Winning Season moving. So I do tell everybody, you know, make sure you do check out Winning Season. It got something on there for everybody. Guaranteed between 5 to 7, 8 songs for each individual listener you'll like, and it's something you'll definitely add to your playlist.
And also, man, directly after this interview, I'm going to be spinning one of my favorite joints off of Winning Season, which is actually titled Perfect Timing. And for our listeners that haven't had the opportunity to check this fire joint out, like, can you tell our listeners a bit more about this song, man, and like what can they expect from it when they do actually hear it?
As far as perfect timing, my cousin DP the Monster, he's from New Orleans. Everybody out the east in New Orleans, dope producer, dope artist. He made the track, and when he sent the track, it was just me saying like, okay, it's perfect timing, and that's what I felt when the track. And perfect timing is just a euphemism or an analogy of saying it's perfect timing, as if you were a hustler and you're moving product, or even if you a business person or you just about your bread, you're like, okay, it's perfect timing for me to make this move because I see what's missing and I got what's missing. I got the flavor, or I got the product, I got what's needed right now. And then that's what basically perfect timing was about. And when you really listen to the song, it gives you that energy, and it just basically to give you that motivation, be like, it's perfect timing. No, I'm not going to wait. It's not yesterday. It's not tomorrow. It's right now. I'm going to start moving with this and preparing to win. So that's basically the high energy that I wanted people to feel from it.
And I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, this song is absolute fire. So make sure you stick around after the interview, and most definitely, if you like it, then make sure you go out, stream yourselves a copy of Winning Season, and if you really like it, make sure you purchase yourself a digital copy as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I gotta ask you, Boxx. I know you have such a huge career within hip hop, so we only covered maybe a sliver of that this evening. But I gotta ask you, man, like, what is next for you? Is there anything I happen to miss? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still have you here live on the Canadian airwaves.
As far as what's next for me, just like I said, we're working on the Four Horsemen project. Y'all be looking forward to hear that at least by the end of this year. Also, what I'm working on, I've been working on this project for a while, and there's so many artists that I got to send features to, I got to get to. There's so much going on, but it's a project I got called Boxx=MC², and it's basically going to be me featuring two artists on every song, and it's going to be produced by myself, MT, and Gills. So that's basically something to look forward to. I was trying to get it dropped by the end of the year. It's like a 50-50 chance it still will happen. It may not happen, because that's going to definitely be a double disc. It's definitely going to be a whole bunch of songs, because there's so many artists that I'm currently doing features with, and currently producing songs to send it out to them and getting it situated. And also working on some stuff with my wife and my kids. I don't want to go too much deep into it. It's going to be musically inclined, but it's also going to deal with a lot of other content creation. You know what I'm saying? Just something on that level. And outside of that, it's just really, man, trying to get it, man, trying to be as self-sufficient as possible. That's just my main goal at this point in my life and in my career, is be as self-sufficient as possible. You know, and open to whatever business deals, whatever situations, just as long as the situation right, as long as the money right, you know, because now everybody knows with this hip-hop now, it affects every aspect of your life, personal all the way to the music. So as long as the situation right, I'm ready to work, and I'm ready to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? From shows to recording, to production, to engineering, to writing. That's just where I'm at in my career right now.
But also, Boxx, this is the time in the interview, quickly, right before I wrap things up, that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, but of course your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated everything Boxx-A-Million if they're not already doing so.
Oh, yeah, man, everything Boxx-A-Million. That's Boxx-A-Million. If you just Google it or you go anywhere on social media, that's me, Boxx-A-Million. Boxx-A-Million, like I always say. 2 X's next door to Texas, straight from Louisiana.
But I gotta say, Boxx, thank you so much, man, for just taking the time of your busy evening and coming on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. It was an honor and most definitely a privilege, man, and hopefully we can make this happen again sometime soon.
All day, man. Anytime, man, you wanna chop it up, I'm here to chop it up, man. And I appreciate your support. And likewise, like we spoke earlier, I'm gonna continue always supporting you, always putting everybody on your station and what you're doing, and your love for hip hop, and creating that medium and that avenue for keeping real, live, raw hip hop going. You You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. We got to keep this thing going. It's aging. It's getting older. We're going to see different subcultures of it. We're going to see different variations. But it's so much of the real lifeblood of what makes this thing keep going. And I salute you. I commend you. And 100% you got my support because you keep that lifeblood of where hip-hop is going.
Hey, man, I just gotta say, I greatly appreciate you, man. And just hearing kind words like that, man, just makes me puts fuel in my tank to go 10 times harder, man. So I just want to say I appreciate the love and support coming from your end as well, brother.
All day, man. And just like I say, guarantee you will hear more from artists that have some type of affiliation with me to deal with you, to do business, and to also support you in what you're doing, and it all be reciprocated. That's a definite.
Hey, man, you already know what to do, man, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Boxx. But for now, man, most definitely have yourself a wonderful night, and most definitely stay safe out there, brother.
You too, brother, you heard me, and I appreciate everything. In Canada, salute. I fuck with y'all because y'all been fucking with me for years. So 100, you heard me?
Hey, man, you already know what to do. Us Canadians, we love real hip-hop, man, and we're gonna continue fucking with Boxx-A-Million.
Yeah, 100, you heard me?
Most definitely, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, brother. Be cool.